Hey everyone, welcome to IT Twist. My name is Gaurav. In the last videos, we have covered object-oriented paradigm in Python. If you directly came into this video without watching previous videos, I would recommend you to please watch that videos. In this video, we will learn about various available type of methods in Python like instance methods, class methods, and static methods. If you are not subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button in order to get notified about latest programming videos and technology updates. So let's get started. Now we will first understand about class variables and instance variables in Python. I'm creating one class named student. So class student, and inside that we will create an initialization method. So def init, and let's pass self here, and let's create two properties, name and age, and we will pass it via parameters here. So we will say self dot name equal to name and self dot age equal to age. So nothing fancy, this all we learned in the previous videos. The property which we defined here are also known as instance variables, as it is limited to a particular object. Let's create a comment and write it down instance variable to have a better understanding for you, since these are the instance variable as the scope is limited to a particular object. To understand this, let's create two objects. For the first object, we will create obj1, which will be equal to student, and we will pass some name and age here. So let's pass name as Harry and pass age as say 20, and let's create one another object obj2, and which is equal to student. Let's pass the name as Ron and age as 30. And if I will print this obj1 dot name, and I will print obj2 dot name, and when I will run this particular thing, so python methods.py, so when I will run this, you will get Harry and Ron. If we see, the instance variable is limited to a object. Each object create a specific instance. What if we want to create something common variables that will be same for both obj1 and obj2? That's where class variables come into play. Now let's create a class variable and let's name it say type, and let's assign a value of say Gryffindor. Yes, I'm a Harry Potter fan. So when I will go ahead and print obj1 dot type, and as well I'm printing obj2 dot type, and let's comment these lines by the way. And when I will run this python methods.py, you will get values as Gryffindor. As class variables are not limited to the object, it is available class-wide. Even we can access student.type. So for that particular class variables, you don't even need object. So if you type student.type, you will get Gryffindor because it is a class variable. Let me put down a comment here, class variable. Coming back, now we will understand about three methods: instance methods, class methods, and static methods. After understanding, I will show you the full demonstration by an example. Now let's start with instance methods. We have already seen instance methods in our previous video. So in order to create an instance methods, we will create it by def, let's say instance methods, and here we will pass some object, so which is self in this particular declaration of this particular instance method. And after that, we will just write a print statement. Let's say this is the instance method of, let's give it a f string by the way, and let's write it self dot name. And how to access this instance methods? We can access this by two methods as we saw in our previous videos. So we can access it by obj1, which is our object, and we will simply say instance methods, or there is a second approach as well where we can say student, which is our class name, dot instance methods, and inside that we can pass our object, which is obj1. So if we call this particular thing, it will still call this, and in place of self, it will pass obj1, and it will print this particular print statement, which is equivalent to this as well, because if we write this, then Python will resolve it to this statement only. So let's comment this, by the way, and let's move ahead and run python methods.py. You will see this is the instance method of Harry. And when I will write obj2.instance methods, you will see this is the instance method of Ron. Now let's understand what is a class method. So a class method is a method that is bound to a class rather than its object. So as of now, we have created instance methods where we created a particular object, and after creating an object, we will call this particular instance method, and we can access each and every instance variable that we have declared. In order to create a class method, first of all, we need to decorate with this particular class method. And as we have seen already in our previous videos, at the rate and this particular thing means decorator in Python. So beneath that, we will create one method and let's name it class underscore methods. And here we need a particular thing, like we add self in case of the instance methods. We need a particular CLS which will contain the reference to a particular class. So you need to remember that in case of instance methods, this self points to a particular object, and in case of class methods, we need to add this particular CLS which will represent a particular class. So in the class methods, we can access even the class variables. Let's access a particular class variable here. So we will just add a print statement and let's add an asterisk. So this is a house of, let's say, CLS dot type. So this CLS corresponds to the student, and we can also write here student. But as we have this particular CLS here that is corresponding to this particular student, so we can write CLS. In order to access this particular class methods, we can access it via creating an object or by class name as well. Let's comment these two lines, by the way, right now. And let's comment this as well. So when I will write obj1 dot, and when we will write class methods, so when I will do python methods.py, you will see this is a house of Gryffindor. Moreover, we can also access class methods via class name. So we can simply write student.class methods, and when I will execute python methods.py, you will see the same result, which is this is a house of Gryffindor. Basically, the use of class methods is for creating factories. We will come back to that later, how to create factories. So let's understand now what are a third method, which is a static method. So why we need a static method basically? Suppose you need to create a method which has nothing to do with a particular instance variables and class variables or any method, so we can create a static method. So in order to create a static method, we can always do that by this @static method, which is a decorator, and beneath that we will create one particular method. So let's name it static underscore method. And by the way, this particular thing will not accept anything, and you can pass any particular parameter if you want, but by convention it will not need a particular thing like self in this case and CLS in the class methods case. The static methods will not need anything because it has nothing to do with the particular class or object. So let's add a print statement and simply say this is a static method. When I will save this, and in order to access this particular static method, we can access it by student.static methods. So when I will hit python methods.py, you will see this is a static method. So why we need static method? So basically this particular static method is analogous to a normal functions that we have created. Only difference is that it makes sense to reside in this particular student class. So basically it is better for code organization point of view. So just imagine we need a particular method which logically make a sense in order to reside in this particular class. So we can add a particular static method here. So remember that it has nothing to do with the class variables, instance variables, and any methods. So this video is already too long to cover an example. So in the next video, we will understand all these things with an example, and we will deep dive into creation of factories using class methods. So stay tuned. See you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.